This demonstration is for a front fly zipper. This zipper would typically be used on pants or jeans. This version will not have the interior lining, but it could easily be added if it was wanted. Some marking needs to be done on the wrong side of the fabric to set up for this zipper insertion. You need to put a dot for the bottom of the zipper. Typically, if you have a pattern, that will show you where that belongs. There is also a mark at the center front line. If you wish, you can extend that all the way to the dot if you do not trust yourself to sew a straight line, but it's not essential that that be done. I also have marked where the zipper top stitching is going to start at the top, but that is optional depending on what kind of guides you have available to use, and we'll get more into that later. Place the two pieces of fabric right sides together with the edges aligned. Start stitching at the bottom 1.5 centimeters from the edge of the fabric. Start with the stitch length at 2.5. Backstitch and stitch to the dot. Backstitch again. Change the stitch length to 4.0 or 5.0 and stitch from the dot to the top without backstitching. Above the dot, you will be basting along the center front line. Here I am using my eye to follow that line, but if you have trouble sewing straight without a guideline, you might want to mark that line on your fabric. Your finished stitching should look like this. With the tip of your shears, make a clip from the edge of the fly facing to the dot. Press the seam to one side below the dot and open above the dot. This tutorial will have a fly opening on the right side, which is typical of jeans and menswear. Women's dress pants more typically open to the left. But as this is going to be on the right, we do not need the fly extension on the right side as you're looking at it. And so I am going to be trimming that off. So you can see here that I have drawn a line that I will be using as a guide to trim. And that line is 1.5 centimeters from the seam. Before inserting the zipper, finish the seam allowances. Below the clip, serge the seam allowances together. Above the clip, serge each side separately. There are a number of ways to prepare the zipper for stitching. It can be basted in place with a needle and thread or pinned. My favorite method is to use a double-sided basting tape. This is a tape that will dissolve when it is washed, so there's no need to remove it after stitching. I prefer the narrowest width, which is 3 millimeters or 1/8 inch. I find wider widths tend to gum up the sewing machine needle and cause it to skip stitches. Place two pieces of basting tape on each side of the zipper on the right side. Remove the protective strip from the basting tape on the left side of the zipper. Place the zipper face down with the zipper stop at the mark and the teeth lined up along the right side of the seam. To sew the zipper accurately, the zipper foot should be used for stitching. Fold the fabric back so only the seam allowance with the zipper tape is extended for stitching. Stitch down the center of the zipper tape from the top to the mark at the bottom. This is what it looks like when complete. Note that the seam allowance with the zipper tape is not stitched to the under fabric. Using the stitching just sewn as a guideline, fold the zipper so it is now behind the seam allowance and extending beyond it. This is in preparation for sewing down the center of that folded edge, but not catching any of the other fabrics on the left side. Stitch close to the folded edge from the top to the mark at the bottom of the zipper. This is how the finished zipper stitching looks. Remove the cover from the basting tape on the right side. Fold the fly extension to the right over the zipper. Press it with your fingers to adhere it to the basting tape. Turn the piece over so the zipper is now upside down. Stitch on the left side down the center of the zipper tape. Be sure to put the zipper foot in position so that it is beside the zipper teeth and not on top of them. Place the piece so the zipper is facing up, although as you can see it is behind the fabric. Fold the top fabric to the right over the zipper. Using your pattern or a zipper template and a fabric marker, draw a guideline for doing the top stitching on the right side of the zipper. The stitching is from the bottom to the top, following the guideline. Stitch length can be 2.5, or if you want, you could do a little bit longer for top stitching and put it on 3 or 3.5. Be sure to position your zipper foot correctly so that it is on the outside of the zipper and not on top of the zipper teeth. Carefully remove the basting with a stitch ripper. The front fly zipper is complete.